Alright everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the second video in the 4-part installment, Heaven, Hell, and Aliens. This section I'm going to be building kind of the main feature of this whole map. The Earth is obviously just going to simulate the mortal world or whatever, where the humans are. So I'm going to build a big wall around the outside to fill it with green. Then I'll build a couple of nice, town hall buildings and city buildings and things like that, just to kind of get it going. Perfect. So now I've got this green area, and I'll start out just by adding a town hall and see how that looks. I really like the town hall that I made in my cult video, which is linked to the right if you want to check that out, where I had the town hall as kind of the center of one of the sections of the grid. Like I'll show the grid right here. I had the center of the town hall in one of these squares, where it makes the tiniest possible square, and then I had little wings coming out the other sides. It made a really nice building that was at the same time small, but also looked significant, looked like a landmark. So let me find that section of the map on this. So there's one. It's a little bit out of the way of the middle, so I kind of want it to be in the middle of the map, but let's see if there even is an option for that. Perfect, right there. And then what I had is I think I went double height. Awesome, that looks like a pretty nice town hall, like a cutesy little area. And then, oh shoot, the gate. So the entrance to hell was this pit right here, but obviously I can't have a pit. Did I get right into the middle of the pit? Awesome, first try. So I obviously can't have just a pit in the middle of this courtyard because it'll destroy the courtyard. So I'll build kind of like a fake mountain around it, so that I'll simulate that this pit is kind of in the middle of a cave or something. And then I'll add a little arch back there, and that's kind of where people are supposed to access it. And then because it's a mountain, I kind of want it to have nice sloped edges. Awesome. So it's not a great mountain. I mean, it's not perfectly simulated, but at least I can kind of pretend it's this stony color. Maybe I should get rid of that chimney, because that chimney is really unmountainy. Perfect. Okay, that's a nice basic shape. And then I can add this corner just to even it out. Perfect. Now, because that's this same color as the town hall, I should probably make the town hall more humanistic. So I think there's this kind of warmer stone color. Oops. This warmer stone color I can use. What would the town hall look like if those were the wings? If I chose these? Not as good. Oh, well, what if there's walls around it? No, still not as good. Okay, yeah, so the town hall is kind of this warmer, more yellowy stone color than the mountain, more humanistic. Then I'll just create a bunch of buildings in this village. This here at the end, this can be like a schoolhouse or something. This red building. Or you know what, I think I might want to save the red for a barn, like I did also in my cult video. So I can build the barn over here. It's quite a nice grid area. Perfect. And then the schoolhouse can be maybe the purple, or maybe or we have purple right next to it, maybe orange. So you've got a nice kind of large entrance, and then the classroom space in the back of the building, like that. Perfect. So there's a street going that way, and then I'll have it continue, and there can be a church at the end, and the church can be right in front of the entrance to the heaven area, so the staircase to heaven. Stairway to hell. I'll have starting here and going around. Let me just carve out a little area for that, just so I leave some space. Maybe this can be some kind of main commercial building in the city, so it's right at the intersection of the two streets. Yeah, so that kind of justifies why it's such a large thing on the cityscape. So the two tallest buildings are, or the three tallest, I guess, at the top of the mountain, the commercial building, and the town hall, which makes sense. Maybe the street can split, just so it's a little bit more of an interesting place. And then the mountain maybe can have another mountain right next to it to kind of hide the entrance to the cave. So the people in this village kind of think that the city will end. Yeah, so I can have a building going across there, and then you got to go around that last building in order to get to the cave. Or no, there should be a church there. Yeah, so this church, that should be a white building. I'm gonna move this commercial building one step to the right. And then the church can be more centered. And then in the back of the church, there can be some kind of graveyard or something. And that can be where the staircase to heaven begins. Oh no, but I can have a staircase beginning where there's a courtyard, because it'll destroy the courtyard. So what I can do is I'll have it adjacent, like that. You know, maybe I should have the wall like this. And that way I can remove that right there. I like the idea of a roof around the whatever building surrounds the graveyard. I forget what they're called. Cloisters? The cloister? But to do that, I'd have to make this courtyard area much, much smaller, which I don't like. So back here, I've got this church, and then behind the church, I think I want to have cloisters, which are basically a courtyard with kind of a low roof over the side of it. And then that can be right adjacent to the entrance to my stairway to heaven. Right over here. So let's have the cloister kind of come out in this direction. And it should create a little courtyard right in the middle there. Hopefully. Yes, perfect. And then let's move these buildings away from it, just to give it some breathing room. That way it'll build a roof right there. Okay, so I can imagine maybe in the middle there's a graveyard there. I don't know if in real cloisters there's graveyards in the middle of them, but that's what this one is. And then I think I was originally going to have everything be grassy, just because that was how my other Townscaper build was, my rural one. But I think what I can do is if I close off the street here, then I can have the streetscape be the pavement texture, and then everything else can be grassy. To do that, I think we'll have to build one building at least right up to the edge of the cloister, but that's okay. It'll just get absorbed and it'll look like something else. So to define the area that's going to be pavement, I'll probably have this main street right here. Let's fill in some of these gaps. Oh, but then it makes... Oh no, but when it's filled in with pavement, it'll delete these walls. That's perfect. Maybe I can have 2 stories right up to the edge. That makes more sense. And then this road will kind of continue on over in this direction. So and then on this side, I can have another grassy area that's enclosed partially by that. Let's delete this building here because I don't want white to be used for any building other than the church. And then maybe purple something or another going back like that. And then a small greenie. And then a taller one like this. Wow, that looks really good. So that's the first time I've ever incorporated both asphalt and the courtyard into one build where you have a city that has both asphalt streets and grassy rural areas. I think that actually looks really cool. I mean, the bottom is kind of multicolored now, rather than being that one nice constant dark brown, but that's really okay. That's not the end of the world. Great, so now I think it's time for the grand tour of the Earth layer. So the goal of this video was to build a city that kind of realistically encapsulated an Earth city. Usually my builds go all the way to the edge of the grid, but I had to work in a much smaller space here, so I had to figure out a really compact kind of human settlement area. So to do this, I decided to base it off of the town that I made in my rural video, which was a very small town. And the way that I made the city in the rural video was by having buildings basically 1 square apart so that a wall would form between them, and that is kind of how I would imagine the border of the street would form. And so I thought that I could kind of do that approach here to create streets just by these little walls between the buildings, but it kind of wasn't looking great. The streets weren't looking super unified, and so I decided that I would split the map up into different sections that were totally walled off by these houses. So this right here is kind of a impermeable seal, I'm like to imagine, to prevent the courtyard from, or to prevent the asphalt from spreading into the courtyard area. And I think this looks really, really good. I think it looks good because it really looks like a normal street where you'd have a paved area in the middle and then the grassy rural areas on the side, rather than what I had in the other video, which was just grass everywhere. So what I have here is two, let's see, let me get closer. It's a little hard to get close when you're on the second level, just because the game is not really meant to zoom in to something like 20 squares up. So I've got this street. It's not super straight. It's a little bit windy, but that's how, organic old streets are built. This town hall is right at the center. This is a great, I think this is a great format for a town hall where you base it off of the smallest tile possible being in the center, and then these 3 small wings going around either side. It makes a nice symmetrical building that is great for kind of the center of a city area. And so that kind of splits the city into 2 streets. There's 1 street going here and 1 street going here. Come to think of it, I can actually make this commercial building probably a little bit larger. Let's call this like a marketplace or something, like this. Actually, perfect. So that's the town hall building. Right next to it is some kind of central commercial building. I don't really know exactly what it could be. Maybe it's the headquarters of some business or something, but that's what that is. And then you can either go in one of 2 directions. You can go in the more kind of tight direction where there's a smaller street going down into like a quiet neighborhood over here that's isolated, or you can go left to the church. Now the church obviously figures pretty large in the city. It's the tallest building around. Got these 2 giant spires on it, and then on the side it's got what I'm imagining is a graveyard. I live kind of near to the Met in the New York area, and they've got this cool museum called the Met Cloisters where they rebuilt a medieval castle that they transported in from different parts of Europe. And so in that building there's a lot of these little courtyards. So that's kind of what that is based off of. And then to the left of the church you have 2 options. The main option is to take the staircase to heaven. So I'm kind of imagining that the people in the graveyard are what spurred on the staircase to heaven entrance being right here. And then the alternative, if you are a bad person, you will go to hell. Now that you access through this little tight hole between the church and the exterior wall, so it's not super easy to get to. You got to come around here, through another one of these tight wall margins, and then you enter through this arch here, and then underneath this roof, which you're supposed to kind of believe is the top of a mountain. Let's see, where is it? That's where you have. Where is it? Oh, is it this right there? Yeah. This right here is just a big pit. And so that pit will unfortunately take you directly to hell. You can see the red of the fire on the side of the channel. So that is this. Oh, and then there's this little barn building over here. Kind of like to make it look like it's more rural, like there's different attributes to the city. There's the more urban section and the more rural section. Obviously in real life they wouldn't be so up close to each other, but because the city is kind of microcosm of what a larger city might look like. That's what I have right here. And then actually in this other rural area, let's build something nice. Let's build like a little well or something, just to have some kind of tower, some kind of feature in this rural place, and maybe a little farmhouse. Perfect. So that is the Earth section of this 4-part series. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking along for the whole video. It'll have the next section posted pretty soon.